Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a small book haul, so just chatting through some of the books that I've picked up in the past couple of months. I've been trying to be quite good this year with my book buying and not hauling too many of them, or trying to at least make sure that I am not bringing in more books than I am reading. And so the ones that I am buying are typically sequels, that I read the first book that's on my TBR and then I go out and buy the sequel. So that's what the bulk of, no. That's what some of these are, and then some of these are just some other random ones. Let's just dive right into the books that I've hauled recently. So I do have a little pile of sequels here, which I'll just talk through. So I have picked up or received recently 10,000 Stitches and Long Shadow by Olivia Atwater. 10,000 Stitches was a gift from Stephanie from Stephanie's Bookverse, and Long Shadow I picked up myself. Me and my boyfriend went for like a date evening. We were just like spontaneously, let's go out in central London for a little like evening together, and he wanted to go to Swatch, the watch shop, and then he was like, what should we do now before we have dinner? And I was like, we're gonna go to the bookshop, aren't we? And he was like, oh yeah, let's go to the bookshop. I was like, yes. So we went to the bookshop and I picked up Long Shadow. I mean, that's the way to my heart, you know, go to the bookshop. Like, where else would we go on a date evening? Both of these, so these finish off the Regency Fairy Tale series. I have now finished it. I have now finished both of these books. So, and I would recommend this series as like a light palette cleanser series between heavier, darker books, and as well if you like romance with a fairy tale twist, I would definitely recommend these, and they have been a lot of fun. So that is two picked up. Another one that I've read is The Golden Enclaves by Naomi Novik, the third and final book in the Scholomance series. The Scholomance series, you are following Elle, who is enrolled in this school called the Scholomance, where all young, bright witches and wizards go to hone their craft. But the school is sort of like a death sentence in some ways, because it is full of monsters, or the system that is meant to keep monsters out is broken, and so more and more monsters are arriving, and so you are constantly at risk of death in the school and being attacked by these monsters that you are training yourself to be able to survive. I had some mixed emotions on this third and final book, but that is in my wrap up. And then the final sequel that I have recently picked up is The Bands of Mourning by Brandon Sanderson, the third book in Mistborn Era 2. This one I have not read yet, but maybe by the time I upload this I'll have read it. But yeah, this is the third book. I know the fourth book is, as of filming this, not quite out yet, but will just be coming out in the next couple of days, and I am anticipating reading that one as well. But I do have the issue that that's coming out in hardback, and I want them in paperback because that's how the rest of the series is for me. Mistborn Era 2 is set a few hundred years after the events of Mistborn Era 1, following two characters, Wax and Wayne, who are lawmen, really. They have taken the law upon themselves, and they are going out and fixing wrongs within the community, and it continues with the same sort of magic system that we were exposed to in Mistborn Era 1. Although I will say this series, at least the first two books, are somewhat lighter and do have a different tone, I would say, than some of the other books in the Cosmere, but we shall see if that continues into Bands of Mourning and into The Lost Metal, because I feel as though it might be getting a little bit more serious now. Overall, this series has been quite fun, and it's quite nice having some shorter Sanderson to read, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one. So those are the sequels that I've picked up. All right, and then me and my friend Brittany did a book swap. So we both sent pictures of our unhaul piles, and this was one from her pile. I unhauled a few of mine. I think she got like loads of sort of cheap paperbacks, and I got a nice Fairy Loot edition. So this is Girl, Serpent and Thorn, which I think is a YA fantasy following a main character, Soraya, who is a princess, and she has lived all her life hidden away, as her touch is poisonous. It sounds a little bit like Shatami. She has a poisonous touch as well. Supposedly there is a demon in the dungeon who holds knowledge that she craves, and also a young man who isn't afraid of her, and she must make the decision to decide if she is going to become human or demon, princess or monster. I've got some nice imagery here. I think this does have under the dust jacket art. Yeah, so reversed dust jacket art. Oh, I don't even know if that's like in frame, but this, and looks like it will sort of fit into the same sort of themes, not themes, but like maybe it will fill the void of Daevabad in a way because of the setting. So excited to give this one a try, and it's definitely been on my radar for a little while. And I think it's a standalone as well, which is always good. I then have a couple of books that were sent to me from Orbit. So the first one being Ocean's Echo, which is the, not sequel, but sort of standalone within the same world as Winter's Orbit. This is a predominantly sci-fi, like political sci-fi with hints of romance throughout, following our main character Tenal and Surit. Tenal comes from like the wealthy elite, but he misbehaves quite a lot, and so he ends up getting conscripted into the army, whereas Surit is already in the army as a lieutenant, but he comes from a tricky background where his mother is known as being the leader of a coup that failed. And so he has that sort of on his record, and they each have different powers. So Tenal is a reader, so he's able to read people's emotions and their feeling and their thoughts and feelings, and Surit is able to compel people to do things. And in this world, readers are sort of looked down upon, that power is not banned, but Tenal sort of has to hide that power from society, and these two come into contact within the army, and their relationship grows, and they have to deal with the consequences and the political machinations that are going on within the world at that time. And then they also sent me Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. This comes out in January. The Ocean's Echo came out already at the beginning of November. This is a January release. I think this is going to fit into the same sort of vein as the Regency Fairy Tales by Olivia Atwater, so 10,000 Stitches and Half a Soul, those books, because this sounds like it goes along those same sort of lines. We're following Emily Wilde, who is an expert on the study of fairies. She's a genius scholar and meticulous researcher who is writing the world's first encyclopedia of fairy lore, but Emily Wilde is not good at people. She travels to this remote village, and she has no intention of befriending the townsfolk, nor does she care to spend time with another new arrival, her dashing and insufferably handsome academic rival, Wendell Bambleby. But as Emily gets close to uncovering the secrets of the hidden ones, the most elusive of all fairies, she also finds herself on the trail of another mystery. Who is Wendell, and what does he really want? To find the answer, she'll have to unlock the greatest mystery of all, her own heart. And this came with this postcard. It was all in a really cute package. I can't remember what it was called, but I had this book growing up with these flower fairies. Was it the flower fairies? And it talked through all the different fairies, and I had images of them all, and it was the most beautiful book. I think it was my mum's, and I was not always allowed to touch it. Like, I had to be very, very careful with this book because it was precious. But it had all these really beautiful fairies in it, and this is one of them. This one definitely wasn't my favourite one, but I always found it like such a cute book, or like very exciting book to go through. So that was a really nice touch, I think, that came with this package. So that is that one. I think this is going to be really, really cute and fun I imagine I will fly through this. It's not that long, so I think this will be a really fun read. I don't know if it's a standalone or part of a series though. I guess that's a wait and see and find out as I read it. And then the final couple of books that I picked up recently were two books that I picked up in New York. I thought, whilst I'm here, I have to buy some books. Like, we had to go to the Strand because you have to go to the Strand, and I had to go to a Barnes & Noble because I'd never been to a Barnes & Noble. I had to go see what the hype was all about, and so I bought a couple of books. But guys, your books in America, they are expensive. Like, your books are so expensive. I mean, I thought like UK books were a bit expensive, but no, our books are cheap. Like, our full price books are cheap compared to what you're paying, because your books are so expensive. You should all come over and have a holiday in the UK just to get some of the books that are UK prices. And I think Canada's even worse, but like, what is going on with your prices? Like, mind-boggling. For paperbacks as well. For paperbacks, my boyfriend was saying the same thing. Like, he was having a look at some of the books, and he was like browsing around the tables, and he saw a book that he was interested in, and it was like $30-something, and he was like, Abby, this book is $30, but it's literally like £6 on Amazon UK. Like, there's no comparison. Like, $30 is probably like £28 nowadays. Like, £28 to £6. That's like, and £6 probably what, like $8, right? $7. Like, how can a book be so differently priced between two countries? So he didn't buy the book when he was in America. He came home and he ordered it online and had it delivered for him for when he got back, because He was so shocked at the price difference. I decided that I had to buy a couple of books because for the memories of it, for like the memento of having a book that I bought in New York and go, oh, I got that book when I was in New York. I got that book at this bookshop. So I did decide to splash out, but I was very picky on the books that I was buying, that I tried to be like clever with it, so I didn't end up spending a ridiculous amount of money. But guys, your books are expensive. So I did go to the Strand, and I still have my bag, the very nice yellow statement bag from the Strand. I don't quite know what I'm going to do with it. So far I've just like folded it and like kept it safe, but I guess maybe I should try and find a home for this. And at the Strand I bought Exhalation by Ted Chiang. This is a collection of short stories by him. So I read Stories of Your Life and Others last year, was it last year, by him, and I really enjoyed it. I found they were very much like thought experiments and make you think. That I found it very like, this is really interesting to read. Like he takes this topic, this thought experiment, and then he just runs with it, and I'd keep thinking back to it, and I'd be like, that was such an interesting, like how you come up with that idea, and then how you keep thinking about it, and how you go, oh, this could mean this, could mean this, and so I just keep thinking about them afterwards. So this is another collection by him, and I think this one might actually be more famous. I am definitely excited to dive into this and read these short stories, and I thought it'd be a safe bet after enjoying that first collection that I feel as though I will like this. And I also do have a bookmark of the Strand as well in here, so it's the memories of the Strand in this book. I then also picked up Engines of Empire by R.S. Ford. This is the start of a fantasy trilogy, I believe, maybe a series, and me and Stephanie from Stephanie's Book First are going to buddy read this, I think this week. I gifted this book to her for her birthday a month or so ago, and when I saw it I was like, oh, this is actually going to be perfect. Like if I pick this up, then we can buddy read it together and it could be quite fun. So that's not what we're now doing. And this is, I think, very much industrial focused and sort of revolution. The nation of Torwin is run on the power of industry, and industry is run by the guilds. Chief among them are the Hawkspurs, whose responsibility it is to keep the gears of the empire turning. That's exactly why matriarch Rosamund Hawkspur sends each of her heirs to the far reaches of the nation. Okay, so and then I think you follow each of these three children. So you have Connell, who is the eldest son, and he is sent into the military, where he sees the first rumblings of a revolution. You follow Tyretta, who is a sorceress, and she is sent to develop her powers there, but discovers some of the dark secrets that the Empire is keeping hidden. And then the youngest, Fullerin, who acts as a guide to a mysterious foreign emissary and then is framed for a crime he didn't commit, a crime that could potentially start a war. So I feel as though this sounds really, really interesting. I like it having, I'm assuming we're going to have these multiple perspectives of these siblings and seeing them grapple with this nation and the threat of revolution, the threat of the dark underbelly of this empire, the magic, the machines, and I think that's going to be really fun to read. I've heard good things about this from Elle, from Elliot Brooks, so excited to dive into this. So those are some of the books that I picked up lately, so not too many of them, trying to restrain myself, but we shall see how that keeps going. I'm not sure if I'll do another book haul before the end of the year. That might be it now. There are definitely a couple of books that I want to pick up and buy, like I don't want to buy The Lost Metal, but I might try and hold off until the paperback comes out and just read it on my Kindle or from the library. I do want to buy Heart of the Sun Warrior, the second book in the Daughter of the Moon Goddess duology, but that may be it, and then I might just be like not buying anything. We'll see. I say that now, and then maybe I go out and buy loads of books in December. Hopefully not, but I have tried to be quite restrained. I think I'm doing quite well. I think my physical TBR is going down. I say that, I haven't actually counted anything, but I feel like it might be going down. It might. Let me know how your book buying has been going lately, if you've been buying lots of books or if you've been more restrained, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!